Here we are with ESPN on the Watch ESPN app. My name is Dave Vincent alongside David Fink for this women's semifinals match. Dave, it was entertaining, but unfortunately for Andy Shadd, it looked like he possibly hurt himself there in the men's semifinals, that 40-plus senior event. And Tom Sheridan does what he's been doing, that is collecting wins here this weekend in Salt Lake City. But now we're turning the sights over to the women's semifinals. In the upper bracket, it was Katrina Casey getting by Danielle Daskalakis, 15-1, 15-3, something like that scoring line. And now Aisling Reilly and Martina McMahon. You knew that there would be two Irish players somewhere, most likely in this bracket, to face each other somewhere by the time the semis crashed, and it's exactly the way it probably was written up.
Well, this is the second straight women's race for 8 event where we've had 3 Irish women's semifinalists. In New York, we had Katrina Casey, Sienna Nee Kareen, and also Martina McMahon. Now we have 2 of those 3, and we've added.
And we had E Ft
Aisling
McCarthy
Reilly
back there as well.
Right, finishing 4th.
Yeah.
Right. So the Irish are dominating. They're doing it on the senior tour also.
Best 2 out of 3 to 15.
And Dave, you won't see anything resembling the men's match that we just watched, that I believe was just over 2 hours for one game to 25.
Well, it felt like 2 hours. It was under, but it certainly probably would have gone 1 hour and 30 minutes. It would have gone probably to the 2-hour mark, even though there was that injury timeout. Those guys are sparring back and forth. You saw it. You sat courtside.
Well, I know that there were 3 matches played on the adjacent court during the time that that senior match was being played.
John and I counted it was 30 minutes that it took them to score 1 point. And that's not including that injury timeout. So that could have happened at any time and was happening, as Martina McMahon, both her and Aisling Reilly wearing the gray. Aisling is our current world champion. Martina should be a world champion.
Well, you say that, but then you saw the way she started this morning against Jessica Gawley. Just was totally out of sorts, Dave. Almost as though she didn't even want to be there at times in that first game. And then she righted the ship in that second game and started hitting shots like that, and actually dominated games 2 and 3 against the 40-something Canadian superstar, Jessica Gawley, who will be playing for 5th place tomorrow.
Coming up after this, it'll be Sean Lenning and Danny Cordoba.
And Dave, I know that you probably haven't had a chance to get into this court this year, which is the first time they've taken that tarp down, but it just really changes the game. I mean, there's shots that would be very easy shots on a standard court with 3 solid walls that are just an adventure, and they'll make you look silly too. And watching it from outside the court, you never lose sight of the ball, so you think, well, this is an easy court to play until you get in there.
Yeah, it looks really difficult. The only time I went in there is when I took pictures on that opening day, and you were trying to hone in a camera, and I thought, oh my gosh, I can't even tell where you're hitting the ball through the camera lens. I couldn't imagine what it was like to try to hit it.
Well, I went and played in the adjacent court just a few minutes ago. That has just the glass back wall and the solid side walls, and I felt like I'd been swinging a bat with a 10-pound donut on it all day, and then took the donut off when I got into that other court. Just felt like this game is not that hard when you can actually see the ball.
Point.
Dave, this is one of these matchups where
2-0.
Aisling Reilly has the incredible pedigree and resume in Ireland. She's won numerous All-Ireland championships, and Martina McMahon is kind of a half a generation behind her. And
need lines, Judge. Want to be a line review? Yeah, I couldn't.
And she's had some really lopsided losses to her. And how do you then get to the point where you're competitive against somebody who's beaten you 21-1 so many times? She's got to cross that barrier.
Yeah, I couldn't see from here.
Yeah.
I didn't see anything on that one.
Well, hard work can pay off.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I think this is more than hard work, because I think Martina has the shots in the game. It's a matter of...
Broken? Check. Broken?
That doesn't happen very often.
It's a matter of getting the confidence. Actually believing that your game matches up against somebody like Aisling Reilly.
Seen a lot of broken balls here, a lot of 21 broken balls here. And that's just a testament really to this altitude. These balls are breaking as they get up to this crazy altitude. And it's been historic that way. Every year it seems to
0.72.
be the same.
Short ball.
Martina has a unique swing in that she just takes one long
1-2.
stride into the ball. She doesn't take those 2 or 3 little steps into the ball like most players. Even during the rally.
I think when I watch her play that she reminds me a lot of Ashley Moeller. She has the mannerisms of Ashley in the court. Not the way she strokes the ball with her left hand, but just sort of the nature.
Love that shot there.
Point.
I think everyone thought she was going to take that off the back wall, and she
2-2.
surprised Aisling.
We're tied at 2 here.
Yeah, by hitting a nice fly kill.
Now, you remember a couple years ago at the U.S. Open when Aisling was upset that she didn't get show court time, and her counterpart did. Well, her counterpart hasn't been able to be on the show court, and Aisling now has the favorable show court chance.
3.72. Short ball. Second serve.
And talking to Aisling, she said she has this issue with her shoulder that from time to time, when it flares up, she really can't do anything. It's like her nerve gets pinched and she can't really even move her neck.
Dave, I think Martina might be the smoothest swinger in handball right now. I can't even think of a close second.
You think it benefits Martina that she played earlier on this court? Remember how bad she looked in that first game early today? But then she obviously said, wait a second, I need to make some adjustments. She made those adjustments. Now she comes on here with a lot of confidence saying, okay, I know exactly what I can and cannot do here on this court. And Aisling now comes in as her first time. And Aisling looks sort of like the way Martina did in that first game.
Yeah, out of sorts. 5 straight points for Martina.
So we lose the monitor here, but it looks like it's going to snap back on, and it does. So we're able to see this timeout.
Did Aisling Reilly not play on this court earlier?
She didn't play in the court earlier, and Martina did play on it earlier, but Katrina Casey hasn't been on this court yet.
Well, you see Martina wisely using the left side glass here on her serve down the left, and she's even hitting shots during the rally that are going straight down the left wall. And you know, that's really a two-way shot, because if you don't hit it perfectly and it clips the side wall, it's still a great shot when you lose it in the light there.
You're watching the WPH Players Championship live from Salt Lake City. I want to thank our sponsors, Mesh, Clark, Rothschild. They've represented businesses with sophisticated and complex legal issues. Go to www.mcrazlaw, that's mcrazlaw.com to learn more.
Huge setup here. Perfect shot.
Wow.
That's the highest percentage shot she could have taken. A 1-foot high pass that just rode the wall with a natural hop.
Short.
That ball was short.
How about that creativity from Aisling, though? Punching that into the back wall. I know it was a short serve, but even to think about something like that.
And she did it really easy, too, like it was with no effort whatsoever. Oh, I like that revolving door.
That's a world champion shot.
2, serving 6. Short. Second serve.
Look at that power, Dave.
Side out.
It's very rare that you see Aisling being pushed around, and that's what
6-32.
Martina's doing right now. Another great serve.
Martina looks like she just walks in here with a ton of confidence.
Side out.
And you know, you and I spoke to her on email, and she seemed to be not arrogant, but very confident when she said, I'm feeling good. You know, sort of like I don't care who I'm playing really good right now. And I like seeing that confidence.
Side out.
And she wasn't doing it to show off.
I noticed this morning against Jessica, Martina, Dave, missed more shots when she was set up perfectly and seemed to hit the ball perfectly, and just for whatever reason,
short ball
just came up short.
Side out.
Should have peeled that serve. That was short.
2, serving 6.
Big setup here for Aisling. Goes to that right corner, cuts the ball down just a little bit.
Oh, that's an avoidable. An obvious one, Dave.
I don't know. I didn't see the contact.
Well, there doesn't have to be contact. She just...
There's the contact.
Martina waved that arm out there to make sure that there was some contact. I don't think she could have had that.
Now you see her flexing her hand there.
2 serving 6. Point.
Well, that's about the only way Aisling's been able to score. But it's early on. We saw the very same thing from Martina earlier today. Actually, to start the day, it seems like.
Short. Second serve.
Wow, look at that crowding from Aisling.
I think Martina could have used that to her advantage.
Point.
With Aisling moving so close to her, a bounce pass to the right would have ended the rally, but instead she went right back down the left, and Aisling positioned herself for that left wall pass.
You're watching the Race for 8 live in Salt Lake City, Utah. WPH in the Players Championship with ESPN and the Watch ESPN app. Let's go to Kara Mack, who's courtside now. Kara, what's going on?
Hey guys, I've got Stephen Cooney with me. Is it neat to see these fellow Irish gals out here taking on the sport here?
Say that again, sorry?
Is it neat to see the Irish girls kind of take over 3 out of the 4 of them now in the semifinals?
Yeah, and it was the same in New York. I think they're pretty much dominating this season. We've seen Katrina won every event so far, and these 2 Irish girls are going at it, so it looks like it's going to be an all-Irish final. Martina got off to a good start. Her left hand was going good, and she's got a good rhythm on the serve, and we see Aisling just getting into it more. So I think this game is going to get closer. I think Aisling's going to get into it. Her serve is going down the right a lot more. But to answer your question, I say, yeah, the Irish seem to be dominating pretty much.
Why do you think that is?
I think they're closer together. The country's smaller, so they get to play each other more. Proximity with players, and they get to play each other some more competitive games, where we see some of the players from New York and California, so they have to travel large distances to get a good game, and they might only see themselves once or twice a year. These girls see themselves 5 times a year. They might play each other 2-3 times a year, and that's all the difference.
You were very particular on not taking off your hat. Do you mind sharing why?
Not yet. No. Maybe the next time I'll take it off.
Last stop for the race here. What can you say about the WPH and what they've done for the sport?
7 serve 6.
They are the sport really at the minute. They're innovating the sport. They're doing as much as possible to promote handball, and it's great. I think they are the sport, so they're doing everything.
What does that mean personally to you?
It means I can travel the States and go to places that I never even dreamed of going. I can come out here playing and hopefully win some money along the way, but play great games. That's what it means to me.
What's been your favorite stop so far this year? So far, I guess this is your last.
San Francisco was pretty good. I enjoyed that. I didn't do too good in the tournament, but I've seen a lot of sights and stuff. But hopefully this one now. We still have 1 night left.
Thank you very much. Back to you guys.
That's funny.
That's a guy who plays handball for all the right reasons,
Yeah.
Dave.
Well, we've seen a lot of the players, when asked what their favorite stop was, they keep bringing up San Francisco. Because they just haven't seen that city. You know, it's Katrina Casey said the same thing. You know, I always wanted to go to Alcatraz, was able to see it. And then Steve says, well, there's still a night left. You know, this might be his favorite stop. You never know.
Side out.
And there's that strange hand error from Aisling. We've seen that, Dave, in the past. Even when she's winning big events,
6 serving
still
7.
seems to make those hand errors with her right hand in the front court.
Point.
That's a 35-foot missile, Dave, that Martina hits
7
with a
serve
natural
7.
hop away from Aisling.
And another mishit from Reilly. She looks back into the
8,
crowd
7.
as if to say, what is going on with me right now? Beautiful pass shot there from Martina.
Very difficult to hit those pass shots
9,
that
7.
hard and keep them off the back wall, but we've seen Martina hit 2 of them now in the last 3 rallies. Dave, I stand corrected. It was all 4
Side up.
women in the New York semifinals being Irish.
7, 7, 9.
Right.
And here we have
3 out of
3 out of 4.
And the
What a
other one
shot.
being from New York.
Yeah.
Which is kind of odd that it worked out that way.
9, 7, 7.
That was a flat roll there. Just over line, another great serve. What is Martina doing? What's in her cereal? Another good
Point.
jamming shot, and now at
Yeah.
10 to 7, and she's kind of dominating right now.
10, 7, 7.
Little,
Well, I'm surprised that Martina hasn't had success against the top women players,
Point.
you know, up until this event. This is what I would expect. Not necessarily that she's going to
Timeout.
beat Aisling or Katrina, but to be very competitive and be in the match and have a good chance to win. And sometimes, Dave, when you're a young player, this is all you need. A good spurt against the top players shows you, I can do this. You know, if I can lead 11-7, there's no reason I can't win a game and win a match. And Dave, I know you played guys where you've won easily, but you know that, hey, I'm not that much better than this person I'm playing. And then all of a sudden they make it competitive, and now all of a sudden the rivalries become 50-50 instead of.
yeah, I kind of sometimes struggle with, you know, having self-belief. So I would go and play a match, possibly win, and think, what is happening here? I know I'm not as good as this player.
Martina,
And that's
time in.
not like a humble brag thought. It's just like, it's a reality thing. It's like, I know that the next game is going to come, and it's going to be, they're going to bring me even more. And you know, you're going to have to do something in game number 2. That's why when Nadia Alvarado won that first game today, you'd say, well,
11, 7, 7.
he's going to be checked up in game number 2, because this reality is going to set in here of who you're going to play, and it kind of came true. See, now when Aisling's able to set up correctly, she
7,
makes
7,
smart
11.
decisions. I think this side glass wall is really giving fits.
Point.
Great serve there
8,
from
7,
Aisling.
11.
Short ball. Very late call from our referee, but the right call.
Aisling has that pronounced Irish
Second
whip,
serve.
Dave, and she makes it look so easy. I've gone into the court and tried to swing that way, and
Point.
it was a disaster. I felt like I never even hit a ball before. Completely
9,
different
11.
swing, different mechanics.
Short.
But yet she still has the sidearm stroke
Second
to go
serve.
with the Irish whip. And I think that's probably the biggest
Point.
difference between the Irish players and the American players is they have all the swings, whereas the American players may only have the sidearm
says
swing or
11.
the overhand swing.
Aisling steps in and just reels off 3 quick points. Make that 4 quick points. I like that return there from Martina.
Just
Right out.
barely misses that one, Dave. Circle that on your scorecard as Aisling had cut the deficit from 7 to 11 to 10-11 in that inning. Could have tied at 11 there.
That's going to go way up front.
Yeah.
Last time we saw a player go for that, did she touch it though?
No,
If she ticked it,
I don't think she did.
it would have been a side out.
Might have caught a strand on her ponytail. I don't think that
11.
counts.
Last time we saw that shot happen on this court, somebody pulled their Achilles.
Is that the diagnosis?
Yeah, they
Side
believe
out.
it might be a partially torn
no.
Achilles.
11, 7, 10.
Terrible.
Anytime somebody says they felt like they got kicked by a horse, not a good sign.
Aisling is keeping herself in this game, Dave, as we see a Courtney Pachot dive. but keeping herself in this game with some really good retrieving skills. This here is a bit of good luck.
Wasn't the best dive I've seen
But
on the
the
broadcast.
slow motion was cool.
Well played, John Bike. This is the first of 2 to 15. Tiebreaker also to 15. Win by 2. Martina McMahon was up 11 to 6, and now Reilly is coming back here. This is the women's semifinals. This is a 60-second timeout.
Time in.
Now Aisling
10,
Reilly
serving 11.
trying to see if she can complete the comeback and tie the score. Wow, I don't know how Aisling got her hand on that.
This is a very good rally. The best rally of the match thus far. And
Side
Dave,
up.
both players hitting great shots there. I wouldn't call that an unforced error. She's pinned into that back left corner, which is very difficult. Tries to use her right hand, but
11,
you know, that
serving
ball's
10.
almost on the wall. Martina needs to get herself off 11 here. She's been stuck on 11 for 7 minutes. And that's how you do it.
Yeah, but look how Aisling just got underneath that ball again, takes center court. Wow, I don't know how Aisling won that rally. I really don't.
You know, Dave, Aisling has those kind of Paul Brady hands where she can just pick the ball up and flip it back into a good position to be in the rally.
Look at that beautiful camera angle there from
10, serving 11.
the World Players of Handball. Super slow-mo action.
Side out.
And another little weird hand air from
11,
Aisling
serving
Reilly.
10.
Amazing passing shot from Martina. Just seems like she has to hit the perfect shot to win rallies because
Yeah.
Aisling is picking everything.
Yeah, it looks
12,
like
serving 10.
I recall seeing about 3 perfect shots that Aisling dug out that I thought were perfect.
Point.
And now it's 2 swings and 2 points for Martina.
13, serving 10.
Man, yeah, she's
I haven't received confirmation on that pronunciation. That's why I haven't used it.
Side out.
I've heard you either intentionally or unintentionally mispronounce so many names that I just can't take your word for it.
well, I just go to the victim and say, how do you want it said?
And then do it the opposite.
And then just do it the way they say. They say, this is the way it's supposed to be called, but this is the way my mom says it. And I
Okay.
say, you know what? Mom's rule. That's kind of my policy. So if mom says it's Chavez or
Yeah.
Nate, or if mom says McMahon,
Yeah.
even if it's McMahon, I go with McMahon because moms always rule.
So they had it all wrong. The Super Bowl shuffle with Jim McMahon, it was really
Oh,
the
that's-
Super Bowl
that's the
shuffle
way
with
it is.
Jim McMahon. Right? I mean, we have to go back in time 30 years and fix that. I mean, the fridge is dancing around.
Well,
and
that's how his mom might have called it. I'm just saying this is how mom says it back home. So why is
Point.
Martina standing so far back there?
yeah, that was a tactical error there on her part. Really just
11,
gave away that
13.
point.
Boy, I lost that myself. This could be a big setup, right-handed kill shot opportunity. Martina.
And this is going to be trouble back here.
Somehow Martina gets her whole hand on that.
Point.
That would have been a side out serving at 13-11. Instead, it's 12-13 with the world champion.
Yeah, you hate to put the ball on the ground
Serving 13.
when you're receiving serve.
Ooh,
Side out.
and another ball into the ground.
And that looked like a perfect shot. I mean, all the way up until it just popped up.
But last time out. 30 seconds.
Martina calling a timeout here. You're watching the WPH Race for 8 women's semifinals with Martina McMahon and Ashleen Reilly. Winner will face Katrina Casey, who defeated Danielle Daskalakis, our referee, 15-1, 15-3 in that women's semifinal match. And earlier, I mean, if we're going to look down the bracket, Dave, you know, we're talking about that dominance of Katrina Casey. She's done so well. You know, remember in New York when she had those wins, dominating like she did here. In the quarterfinals, she won 15-0, 15-0. Semifinals, 15-1, 15-3.
Serving 12.
I mean, she just continues that domination. So far, combined 4 points in 4 games.
That's just about her average.
Point.
And she came into this event, Dave, outscoring her opponents 4.1 to 1 throughout the season. So that's basically the equivalent of allowing 3 points per game. Here she's allowing just 1.
Yeah, here's the game point. How intimidating is it to have Ashleen slap her hands against her knees after the ref calls the point? And there it is. Martina McMahon takes game number 1, 15-12. And I'm impressed.
Yeah.
And that was fun. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in about 3 minutes. Stay around. We'll have more handball here at racefor8.com and ESPN, the Watch ESPN app. Stick with us.
We're back live here in Salt Lake City. I'm with Katrina Casey here on the sidelines, witnessing this match. You're witnessing the 2 gals. You're going to take care of one of them, have them against you in the finals tomorrow. What can you say about each of these 2 players?
Yeah, like they're both very strong players and it's a good game. I think the crowd are enjoying it so far and I think it's probably far from over. But yeah, 2 very good players, high level of skill and athleticism really. Like that's hard hitting going on in there. It's great win for Martina to get the first game under her belt, and I'm sure now she'll drive on and keep shooting from the deep court, which is where she's kind of most dangerous from. And at the same time, Ashling is so experienced now, she won't let that get to her. She knows that she has to win 2 games to win the match either way. And it looked like she kind of wanted to get that out of the way, and she'll be back in focus again.
I refrained from saying their names, thinking that you would, because a little bit earlier here in the cast, both Daves are kind of bouting it out. How do you pronounce all of these names that we might not be pronouncing right? So we're going to clear it up for you 2, okay? So go ahead and say these 2 opponents exactly how we're supposed to pronounce their names.
Okay, you have Martina McMahon, and she's from Limerick in Ireland.
So stop right there. Again, her last name is pronounced
McMahon.
Okay.
And then you have Ashling Reilly from Antrim, County Antrim. But I know a lot of people over here call her Aisling. but I guess it's an Irish name. The spelling is an Irish spelling, yeah.
Another one I've heard many ways is Danielle's. How do you say your last name?
Daskalakis.
Not Akis, right?
No, not Akis. Who would say that?
Say that. And even though your name is spelled differently, do you get that kind of butchered a few times too?
Yeah, a little bit. I get Catriona sometimes, which isn't a million miles off, but yeah, just Katrina. There's an O in there, but it's silent.
What are you witnessing now that you might alter the way you play tomorrow?
I don't know. I just will probably try to shoot the ball before either of these girls will, because if they get the offensive opportunity, like, they're going to take it from anywhere in the court. So, yeah, that's probably the main thing.
We've talked a lot today about the influence of the WPH on handball itself. What can you say about the women's sport and the influence it has had directly on that?
Yeah, like, it's huge, really. You know, last season was the maiden season of the women's race tour, and I think it's going from strength to strength, really. I'm delighted to see a few more Irish players traveling over now to more stops, some of the younger girls, and we had, you know, all Irish semi-finals in New York and 3 out of the 4 here. So, like, it means a lot to us, and we really enjoy traveling over, and we appreciate, you know, everything the WPH do.
Thank you, Katrina. Back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Kara.
Great insights there from Katrina.
1-0.
Score here is 1-0 with Reilly jumping out to that very quick lead. Really cool insight there from Katrina Casey, Dave.
And you see Aisling really crowding.
Well, that's what I was trying to say in the first game.
Yeah, I saw it.
It's like overcrowding,
Yeah.
almost intimidating. And she's...
I think it's intended to be intimidating.
Yeah. Can't imagine it being anything else. I mean, she's so big and
3-0.
tall. It just seems like she's got this kind of scary sort of presence on the court. But then you would say Martina's kind of the same in a way, right? I mean, she's also built very similar. And she almost gets that quick ball off the side wall. And now 4-0, and as if it's a replay of an earlier match today that we've already seen. 4-0 already is Aisling Reilly up here. And Dave, not to interview you about the interview that we just saw with Katrina Casey, but you know, she's talking about the women players coming over now from Ireland wanting to be you know, a part of the tour. And you can tell it's not about the money. It's about, you know, getting the competition. And it's something that I am very amazed to hear, and you've brought it up many times. It's like, you know, I want to play in a tournament where there's good players. I don't want to go, if I'm going to travel out of town, I'm not going to go there to get a win. And I think that's kind of the indifference between the pros and some of the other divisions. Not to say at all the times, but, you know, I've seen other divisions say, I'm traveling there because I know I'm going to win. And then you see a pro saying, I'm not traveling to that tournament because I know I'm going to win, and I want competition. And hearing Katrina say it, and then you and the other pros I've talked to, it does make sense. I mean, you don't want to waste air miles and holiday pay and timeouts at work and all that stuff just to go get a freebie, unless you're sightseeing or you have other work to do. So it's interesting to see how they take it serious and want good competition. And at times we found out that even players like Martina McMahon and Aisling Reilly might not even be able to play each other in their own country. And you heard, you know, some of the players like Robbie McCarthy say, you know, I don't mind coming to the United States to play Paul Brady. I mean, I need to do it before I die. I can't do it in Ireland all the time. So that's cool.
What's not cool for Martina McMahon fans is this slow start in game number 2.
2 serves.
Yeah, that's not cool. See if she can break through and find a little something.
Point.
Listen to the referee call the score here. 5-0, going to 15.
David, just wouldn't be right if we didn't go to a tiebreaker.
Well, that's just kind of how the weekend is. In fact, the tournament officials were going to rename this the tiebreaker
6-0.
backbreaker tournament. 6-0 going to 15 now. And this is a different Aisling Reilly, and it looks like a different Martina McMahon.
Point.
She pins herself on the wrong side of Reilly and then has to pay by another point going on the scoreboard. And I wouldn't be surprised if this ends in a 0 here with the way Aisling has controlled the front court.
Well, it looks like
7-0.
Martina has allowed Aisling to get into her head here, almost as though, you know, I won the first game, but now Aisling's going to really take it to me, when really she's not doing much different. Martina's just not very assertive thus far early in game number 2 like she was in game 1. You saw her in game 1 for the majority of that game dictating play, hitting the ball hard and pushing Aisling into the backcourt, and now she's just playing very passively.
Short ball. Second serve. Side out.
Huh.
And Aisling's going for the ceiling there, Dave, and hits the ball 6 inches high. That's a 20-foot miss.
Usually you hear an apology, but
No.
I didn't hear an apology there.
No.
Oh, see how Aisling has great anticipation. Either that or she's purposely trying to get hit by the ball, and yet she hasn't been hit by the ball. Here's another one of those big party balls.
Side out. 0, serve 7.
Watch this ball ride this
Circle.
left wall, Dave.
Well, I think Aisling gets that
Second
on a
serve.
non-glass wall court. It's just you lose it there.
Hold
Nope,
it.
screen.
Frustrating there for Martina. That was a very big opening
Thank you.
to win that rally.
0, serve 7.
There's the first point of the second game from McMahon, as Sean
1,
Linning
serving
and
7.
Dan Cordova will be up next. Short ball, no call from the ref. And Dave, that if it is peeled,
Side out.
there it is, and it is
Thank you.
appealed.
Yvonne, did you see the serve? Short ball? I couldn't see it. Okay. Ball was short.
Ball was short. And here it is, Dave, on replay. Yes, 3 inches short. It was called
serve.
short, and instead of losing the serve, Martina's back in here looking for her second point. That's why we have line judges.
Do we, though?
Well, we
Point.
do. The line judges just overruled the ref, so.
2, serving 7.
And that's a tough situation for a referee. Sometimes you just can't see it because of a position of maybe a pillar on the back wall, and you just let it go. Don't say anything. Look at that stiletto left-handed right corner kill from McMahon. Dave, I see that you like
337.
hitting that ball to that left side, and other lefties will go over to the right side.
Just gotta let this hit the front wall.
And
Dave,
again,
you have to
Side out.
practice that shot, because if you don't, you cannot anticipate and react to that spin when it hits the front wall. You have to actually paddle that and get your hand low, way underneath the
7,
ball.
serving 3.
Ball
Watch what
shoots down.
happens. Yeah. If you try and hit that with a sidearm swing, you'll do that every time. You have to actually get closer to the front wall than you think, because the ball comes down at about a 70-degree angle.
Here's another long rally. I know we don't see it because our
Point.
monitor's not working, but we'll just kind of imagine it by the sounds of the referee and the
8,
sounds of the
serving
ball.
3.
Luckily for us, we can see it live, though,
Point.
on the
And
show
Dave,
court.
did Marco
Time out.
Chavez play Dan Armijo in that?
25-10 was the score. I think there's a timeout being called here. Not quite sure.
Dave, I know a lot of our fans from Juarez tuning in. It was Luis Cordova defeating Marco Chavez 25-23 in that 9th place playoff semifinals. He'll now face Vic Perez in a rematch of what I consider to be the match of the year, Dave, the 9th place final from San Francisco.
Well, I believe. Well, and that's going to be thrilling. That'll be probably on a live broadcast.
It's not scheduled, though.
Okay. 25-23 was the score there.
Well, Dave, in the
that
ninth
one.
place playoffs, 25-22 is considered a blowout. We've seen throughout the history of this tour that for whatever reason, when they match up in those playoffs, it's invariably 25-23 or 26-24. Of course, whenever we put a match on the broadcast, that'll never happen.
That's true. Score here is 10-3 with Aisling Reilly serving here in a short second serve on the way.
Second serve.
Do you call that the broadcast curse, Dave?
What?
The fact that we can't get one of those kind of matches on an actual broadcast, but when they're on the back,
we just had one. Andy Shadd and
that was
Tom Sheridan.
25-21.
Yeah, but
it was mostly standing around and
Point.
that's no
arguing
respect.
and-
No arguing at all, actually. But they were
11
tied at
serves
21, and then one guy pulls his Achilles. I mean,
Side out.
it was going to go all the way to about 50 if it wasn't for that.
I
mean,
cannot
in a
disagree with that.
they were tied at 8. Someone said on a text message it was tied at 3, tied at 5, tied at 8, tied at 11, tied at 15, tied at 16. I mean,
Well,
what do you
someone's
expect?
Achilles had to give at that point.
Side out. 11 serving 3.
Score here is 11-3. And just like that, Aisling is showing everybody why she is the world champion.
Point. Serving 3.
Aisling now just 3 points, Dave, from forcing a tiebreaker. She's got
Short ball.
all the momentum here. A short serve.
Second serve. Oh, appealing. Short. Yvonne. Short ball. One serve.
Aisling appeals the serve, but it was short.
Well, that was a terrible miss hit. Aisling knows it too. Went straight up and hit the roof.
3 serving 12.
Aisling shaking her head like, what am I doing? And Dave, you've done that too, where you're like, I've hit this a million times in my life. What in the world is going on? And another miss hit back there. Point. I believe 4 is on the scoreboard here.
4 serving 12.
I kind of enjoy watching this handball live, Dave. I mean, even if I am having to look through the hordes of fans that are gathered around the show
12
court.
serving 4.
It's actually amazing, Dave, from that sidewall glass. In fact, maybe next year, Dave, that we set up the broadcast booth.
Well, we
over
could have
there.
done that. We could have. And the problem for not doing it was this light that we have shining on us would also shine back on the players.
Oh.
And even though it's facing our direction, it still would have. And that was the reason for not doing it.
Perhaps less broadcast booth time.
13 serving 4. Side out. Four serves 13.
Martina has 4. Aisling Reilly has 13. And it looks like this is going to go to a tiebreaker unless
Hold it.
contact there. Unless something happens different.
Two serves, 4-13. Side out. Last time out.
There's a timeout being called here. Martina McMahon calling it. You're watching the WPH Race for 8 live in Salt Lake City, Utah, the Players' Championship, where all the points count.
13-4.
That's why you see tons of playoffs, and the players working their way through the brackets. Whether or not they win or lose, they still have other matches to play as they play off to try to find who will be number 1, who will be number 8, who's going to be number 16, everything in between. I want to thank the sponsors that have helped out with this live broadcast and those that are supporting the World Players of Handball and the innovations, getting handball on the air. Team Edel. Learn about the world's elite handball pros, Katrina Casey, Emma Pachot, and more at edelhandball.com/Team Edel. Also, MindQuest, shaping smart change for the life of your mind, the global leader in mining software. Look up mintech.com or mindquest.com, part of Hexagon. And then Tucson Rolling Shutters, retractable products to enhance the lifestyle, from windows, doors, sliders, patios to garage openings, storefronts, and so much more. TRS distributes their products all across North America. Contact your local dealer. Ask them for any amount of information regarding your shutters or your blinds at your house, and they're going to give it to you. You can also find out more at TucsonRollingShutters.com. And Dewey's Bail Bonds are dedicated to providing the very fast, most courteous and knowledgeable bail service possible. Established in 1950. Call them at 888-621-4238. That's Dewey's Bail Bonds. As we're back in here with Aisling Reilly getting that next point after the timeout. And now it's a possible game to force a tiebreaker versus Martina McMahon. Back to the roof. Might have overhit this one, Dave.
Aisling does not make her pay, though.
Kind of a desperation shot from Aisling, and then Martina makes her pay.
Four serves 14. Short ball. One serve.
It's 4-14.
Oh, a terrible hand air there from Aisling. Dave, I don't know if she overswung there or maybe took her eye off the target or the ball at the last second, but Martina back in the server's box seems to be just prolonging the inevitable here as she's facing a huge mountain, down now 5-14, maybe just trying to get some momentum and confidence for the inevitable tiebreaker. Martina works that rally and makes a very easy air there for her.
Possible game point, serving 6.
Here's another possible game point. And it might get it there, and she does it with a fist pump. And now we're going to go to a tiebreaker as Aisling Reilly takes down Martina McMahon. And we're going to take a 3-minute break here because this one is now officially over. And so we want you to stick around for that, as we'll have the third game tiebreaker between Reilly and McMahon coming up, and then the men's semifinals right afterwards here at the Sports Mall in Salt Lake City. I almost said South Lake Tahoe, first time. So that means I have to buy a round of drinks. Thank goodness I surround myself with non-drinkers, just water drinkers. We'll be back in just a bit. Stick around here on racefor8.com and ESPN. The Watch ESPN app will have game number 3 in 2 minutes.
This is one amazing truffula tree. Can you imagine a place where these grow everywhere? Yes, it's called the forest, a magical place to enjoy with your family. So discover the forest and explore all the wonder that's there. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a forest near you.
My life is full of statistics. Thing is, I could have dropped out of school and become one myself, but I didn't because I had people that believed in me. Here's another statistic. 7,000 students drop out every school day. That's one every 26 seconds. It's time that students know that we believe in them.
Inspire a student and share your message of support at boostup.org. "7,000 high school students drop out every school day. That's a line of desks more than 4 miles long. We can keep students in school. Visit boostup.org and take the first step.
Where'd you get this? The best thing. Fresh meat? Yeah, I got couscous. Couscous, right? Yeah.
Martina, ready? Reilly starts first.
Mother's is supposed to be that.
0-0.
We're at 0-0 here in the tiebreaker to kick it off as Ashleen Reilly is going to try to strike first. She has a big setup here. She goes for it and gets it. Nice shot right down the right wall, and she's the first one to get onto the scoreboard here.
1-0. Point.
I believe that's another quick point for Reilly.
2-0. Serve ball. Second serve. Point.
And 3 quick points now.
3-0.
Reilly hits that ball right into the ground there, into the right side, and gets a side out. Now Martina.
0 serves 3. Point. One serves 3. Short. Second serve.
Martina goes in there, second serve, double faults.
3 serves 1.
And that's the last thing you want to do when you're in a tiebreaker against Aisling Reilly, and that's going to be played over because I guess of the closeness of McMahon. You're playing somebody as good as Aisling Reilly. You don't want a double fault on your serve after scoring a point. After getting a side out.
Sorry, I didn't see that. The door opened. So we're going to replay that. It was a bad bounce off the door. Opened up. 4 serves 1.
Now they replayed that because the door swung open during the rally, and the referee didn't see it, but fans were saying that the door is open. Now this club never really seemed to have that sort of Los Cab problem where somebody could hit the back wall and it knocks the door open. I don't recall it in years past, but
it was
happening.
in 2013 that was a problem here. Mr. Garza was actually holding the door shut that year and came back with a new magnet in the middle of the event.
Look at that ceiling shot. It's unbelievable, just with no effort whatsoever.
And it's all for naught, Dave.
5 serves 1.
Well, that serve was unbelievable. Nice little hook, natural, pops away from McMahon. Here it is in super slow motion.
Wow.
Just barely clears the short line and then fades to the corner on a double bounce. Pretty impressive serve. This is a tiebreaker. It was Aisling Reilly losing that first game 15-12 or 12-15, comes back and wins 15-6 in game number 2. Now finds herself up 6-1 and a timeout for McMahon.
And Dave, I like what Aisling's doing, just staying in the court. She's in the groove right now and doesn't want to lose her concentration. Sometimes, Dave, when you're on the wrong end, like Martina is right now, you want to go out of the court and maybe something will distract you and snap you out of your funk. And you come back in refreshed, reset, rebooted.
Okay.
The locals here, Dave, love to be a part of the action, and I mean that in a good way.
Okay.
6 serves 1.
I mean, they like to encourage the players and cheer them on, and it's very uplifting.
Big setup here for Aisling. Martina's going to have to try to track that down, unable to do it. Now the 7th point on the scoreboard for Reilly.
7 serves 1.
Reilly's playing some really good handball right now. And that time got herself turned around. Don't think she really had her feet under her, trying to play that McMahon drive right down the middle of the court. Love that shot there from Martina.
That was impressive. McMahon hitting this ball at times in this tournament like I've never seen anybody hit it, and then other times not doing, you know, some of the basic things right. She has tons of power, no doubt about that. Look at that leverage.
I love that shot.
Dave, that, you know, when you see that, you say, well, she should be $1 million athlete just off that one shot alone. Watch how she sets up here with her legs.
No, I thought this was a $50 million athlete the first time I saw her hit a ball last month in New York.
But then that happens.
Yeah.
The same exact shot with the opposite hand. 7-3.
And that was one of the first swings I've seen her take with her left, Dave, where she just didn't look set or comfortable.
Ashling sure getting a lot of opportunities off big back wall setups. That's going to pop right to McMahon.
And Dave, I like what Ashling's doing now. She's playing fast because she knows that she's got the momentum, and she's just getting in there and serving quickly. I think not allowing Martina to recover either is part of that strategy, but also, you know, when you're feeling it, you don't want to wait around. You want to get that ball in the air quickly as you can.
Well, Ashling is staying on the court once again. She might just mosey out for a drink or two here. And you see McMahon just calling this timeout, and it's a smart timeout to call. It's a tiebreaker here. Salt Lake City, Utah, at the Players' Championship, where Ashling Reilly has been taken to a tiebreaker here in the semis. Sean Lenning and Danny Cordova will be up next with their men's semifinal match. So that will be happening. Then Luis Moreno and Mondo Ortiz right after that. You know, we're talking about those list of sponsors that we have. There's been some pretty good feedback from those sponsors already. I know that Dewey Bail Bond said that they had some customers call,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool to hear.
Yeah. Well, maybe they're not so cool for them, the customers, meaning that they
well,
might not
yeah,
be in a great
the
spot.
reason why you had to call is not
Yeah.
necessarily good, but
Yeah. But good that they got the word out there that they knew who to call.
oh, I guess our target audience is spot on.
Yeah.
And also Simple Green Products used earlier today when that,
Yeah.
when we call it what grease gate took place
973.
on that side glass. I mean, I guess you don't use vegetable oil to clean off the condensation on the courts, so that's unfortunate.
Point.
And another point for Ashling Reilly. She's now up to 10-3.
10-3.
Dave, you have to have so much respect for these athletes, particularly from Ireland, who are traveling 8,000
Side out.
miles to come here and compete.
3 serving 10.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. I think it puts pressure on everybody to make sure that they do things right. When someone shows their support from far distances. And look at that beautiful kill shot there, dead center from Martina McMahon.
4 serves 10.
Big setup again. Oh, and she got it back somehow. Martina gets that to the front wall, passed over to the left, no call from the referee. Martina wanted the hinder.
Does
Doesn't
she still
get it.
want it? You think she still wants it, Dave?
I think it's just a really good case of amnesia here.
Oh, okay. Because I bet you could still get it. I think Ashling would have given it to her. Great inside-out pass from Ashling.
10-75.
Her arm's got to be feeling good to hit that shot, Dave.
Oh, yeah.
That's one of the toughest shots if you have a bad arm.
Point.
I asked her what triggers that kind of thing that happens in her shoulder. She said she doesn't know. She has no clue. It just
11
happens.
serving 5.
Is it handball? No, it just.
Second
She
serve.
said she picked up a backpack one time and couldn't play handball for 2 weeks, and it wasn't even a handball injury.
Second serve.
Well, no, Dave, a lot of these baseball players are out for sneezing and
Check the ball.
not unavoidable.
2 serves.
Big setup here for Reilly. And that door should have opened right up, and it did, Dave. That door is wide open down there. And that's a huge problem. If one of these...
And you see Martina knew that it was open and kind of slowed down her swing because of it.
And she's going to look back maybe to see if it's shut. And see now Ashling's saying the door is wide open and we're playing the rally. And
Door open?
Yeah, the door did open. He shut it.
Did it affect the?
Obviously, it did affect the play because the players are both asking about it.
Yeah, but did you see it affect the play? Yeah.
There and the.
Huh?
Now this, Dave, what is the decision that the referee's going to have to make here? Because obviously they both, everybody in the world now knows that door swung open.
Well,
I saw it.
I think this has to be a replay, and I'm not a fan of changing a call 30 seconds later.
But as a player, there's a huge insecurity there when you know that door's wide
Well,
open. And Dave, let's watch it. You can see here. Watch, Dave. Watch here in the right corner. Watch that door pop open. Watch that right here. The door is open here.
I agree.
I'm showing you. The door is open. We're showing you on the replay.
I know. My opinion is, Dave, if an offensive player has a shot in the front court and there is no danger with that court open, he or she can take that shot, and if he or she does not put that shot away.
But Dave, there was 10 shots with
No,
the door
I agree.
wide open. And what
replay.
happens, I'm saying as a player, you're insecure knowing that door's back there. So you feel like
No, I agree with you.
something's going to happen here. I'm going to run.
I don't know what else to say.
I can't run back there. I can't hit a ball back there because I know the door's open. So are we going to replay it or not? It's like that one time when you were playing that match back in the dark ages of the innovations of the WPH, and we threw that cat onto the court.
Yeah.
And nobody really saw it. The cat just ran up the wall and etched out. And, you said, but I know there was a cat on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone just kind of laughed. And was it fair? I don't know. Probably not. I didn't read anything.
I realized
in the
at that
rules.
point I better start acting a little bit better to have people stop throwing cats on the court and distracting me.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's getting.
That's a sign that people don't like you. And then, all the people in the gallery are pretending they didn't see this cat that was obviously there.
I mean, you won the rally, but still, you didn't want anybody to get hurt.
No.
Side out.
And I don't blame you. And there's another side out with McMahon.
Serving 11.
Just pecking away here, Dave. It's not over with, and we thought it was. Now she's at 7-11, closing the gap, as they say. I'm thinking that Reilly's hoping that someone would throw a cat onto the court. Uh-oh, terrible overhit here.
Point.
And another point now. McMahon at 8-11. I said that in the American dialect.
Yeah.
I like to toggle.
8-11, yeah.
This is the tiebreaker. It's 8 serves 11 for McMahon as she is trying to just peck away at that one-time huge lead for Aisling Reilly. Reilly was up 11-4. Now McMahon is just a couple points away here from tying it up in game number 3, the third set. The big semifinals are on the court live in Salt Lake City, Utah, the
Dave,
Players Championship.
How cool is it to just see Paul Brady just hanging out? He's just kind of a fan here this weekend after having to scratch in his round of 16 match. And I thought, we might not see the guy again. And yet he's watched more handball than anyone here. He still doesn't know any of the rules. He doesn't know how many timeouts you get. He doesn't know how long a timeout is or how many minutes between games or other various things. But he's watching, Dave. And, it's amazing what you can pick up by watching. He may leave here knowing how many timeouts you can call in a game.
That's true. And I think that if he would have been awarded his bonus check, he would be here in spirit.
Yeah.
But really in Las Vegas.
Oh, yeah.
Or wherever his next stop is.
So he had to actually watch matches all weekend to get that bonus
No,
check?
it's just purposely not given to him because you know that.
Yeah. Because he'll be in Vegas.
He'd be gone.
Yeah.
So, we're actually helping ourselves for when he refs later. He actually reffed earlier and did a pretty good job, better than the last time he was here. So he's actually getting better at reffing.
Yeah.
He might have some potential.
Well, all he has to do is come to Salt Lake City and he'll become a great ref because he can't win a match here. He's undefeated on every continent against every opponent in every court until Salt Lake City. And that's an amazing shot from Aisling Reilly.
I thought that was 2 bounces.
I did not.
Let's see this in slow-mo.
Yeah.
I'm
no, I
calling
definitely
2.
don't think
1,
it was. Not even close.
You're right, it wasn't close.
And I'd like for you to please go ahead and send that apology on Ashlyn's Facebook wall.
Okay,
if you do that.
I'll do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I admit it.
Yeah.
And I will apologize.
13, serving 8. Short ball.
Ashling now 2 points, Dave, from facing her greatest rival and arguably the greatest rivalry in handball right now.
One serve.
Ashling Reilly and Katrina Casey.
Back wall.
Still some work to be done, though.
Side out.
Well, if McMahon can score another 4 points,
8, serving 13.
make it sound like it's easy. It's a lot of hard work here. 8 to 13.
Short.
It's not over with. Have to get to 15, and
Second
you have to
serve.
win by 2. Boy, that ball's hard to see, even on as we sit here and watch it. I couldn't imagine being in the court having to do it. And there's the first one for McMahon.
Nine, serving 13. Side out.
A lot of people
13,
saying, Dave, that
39.
Martina McMahon looks like Olivia Wilde.
Hold it.
Oh.
Block ball.
Oh, no. Oh, my goodness. Dave, what is our referee seeing here? I mean, I know you don't talk about referees, but I do. I mean, she already walked this one off. Oof. And now follows that bad call with just a sloppy error. What could have been,
Possible game
Dave?
point, serving 9.
Instead of serving. Big, huge 2-point indifference there. There it is.
Game.
Ashling Reilly defeats Martina McMahon 15-9 in the tiebreaker, and will now go to the finals to face Katrina Casey.
Well, Dave, there's no such thing as moral victories at this level, but I think if there were, and maybe Martina takes this as a moral victory, she's got a good chance to take 3rd place tomorrow, back up her 3rd place finish from New York City just a couple weeks ago. And all around, David, a great match from both ladies. Ashling Reilly did what she had to do after dropping that first game. She was steady. She made the big shots when she had to make them, and Martina McMahon showed what I think we all know is that she belongs on the big stage playing for the biggest titles. And I think it's only a matter of time before she collects one of those big titles.
Well, it was 15-9. Ashling Reilly takes the breaker here and wins the women's semifinals, and will now face Katrina Casey in the finals tomorrow here in Salt Lake City, Utah. Up next, men's semifinals. Sean Lenning and Daniel Cordova here on racefor8.com and ESPN, the Watch ESPN app, where the worldwide leader in sports getting behind the handball action all season long. Here at the season finale, we'll have more handball action right around the corner. Stick with us.
This broadcast of the Players' Championship is brought to you by MineSight, the global leaders in mining software, by Tucson Rolling Shutters, by Mesh Clark and Rothschild, and by Simple Green. Simple Green's all-purpose cleaners concentrated formula provides up to 30 times the cleaning value.